Welcome to the Top Talent and Immigration Show with your host, Kaushik Ranchod. In this show, we discuss how companies and top talent in America overcome immigration obstacles and help create freedom and prosperity in America.
Kaushik Ranchod here. I'm the founder of Top Talent and Immigration, where I talk with leading researchers, business leaders, and attorneys on how they overcome big challenges in the immigration process and business. This episode is brought to you by the Ranchod Law Group. Ranchod Law Group's mission is to provide freedom and prosperity for immigrants and help more businesses to connect to top talent. And today we're going to be talking about goals for 2020, your immigration goals, how to achieve them, and what to do to make this decade a success. Back to the sponsorship message. Ranchod Law Group believes that immigrants add tremendous value to the U.S. economy and helps companies facing a shortage of talent to make up that gap and grow thanks to the immigrant talent that contribute to their bottom line. They also help immigrants to navigate the complicated immigration process today. Ranchod Law Group has been in business for nearly 20 years in Northern California and serves clients nationwide as a trusted advisor for employers and helping employers to attract talented immigrant employees. Contact Ranchod Law Group today for details on how the firm can help you to solve your immigration challenges. Visit us at ranchodlaw.com or 916-613-3553. 2020, my friends. We have a new decade ahead of us, and today we're talking about how to achieve your goals and specifically your immigration goals. How do you want to start this decade? What do you want your life to look like 10 years from now? Set that goal for how you want it to look 10 years from now, and then map it out backwards to achieve your goals. So for instance, if you want to get citizenship within 10 years, look at all the steps that need to happen in order for you to get citizenship and work yourself. Basically deconstruct the process, engineer the process going backwards to determine what you need to do. So in the case of citizenship, before citizenship, you need to get a green card. But take a look at and map out how long it would take to get a green card. And then before you get a green card, you need a visa. So either an H-1B or some other type of work visa. And then before you may be in J-1 status or F-1 status. Map it out to whether you're going to need to extend that status. And by doing that, you have a very concrete plan and a roadmap of what you need to do. Because if you don't plan, then you're planning to fail. So basically what that means is if you don't create a map, then you're just going to let life come at you and you're not going to be able to be ready for what happens because you haven't created a plan. So you don't want to just be in a ship and letting the wind take your sails and not knowing how to utilize that wind to go in the direction that you want to go. And by having a plan, by mapping it out, you'll be able to know which direction you want to go. So once you create your map, one process I want you to focus on is a muscle that you can build to help you achieve your goals is visualization. Now, many of the top Olympic athletes use visualization to help them achieve their goals. For instance, Michael Phelps, one of the top swimmers, one of the greatest. He has one of the world records for the number of gold medals that he has achieved, and he uses visualization. And visualization, and I notice this for myself, it's like a muscle. The more you visualize, the better you're going to get. And when I first started visualizing what my personal goals, it was very difficult. And the more that I visualize, the better and better I get. So for instance, if you want to get a green card, visualize all the steps in the process that need to occur, everything that needs to happen in order to get a green card. So this is not only visualizing the end result, you want to visualize the process itself. Visualize the emotions that you feel as well. You want to take it beyond just mere intellectual visualization to actually feeling it in your body, feeling the emotions, get your whole nervous system involved, because that's going to make it much more powerful in getting your whole mind and body focused on achieving that goal. So we've talked about visualization, we've talked about creating the map. And in looking at that map, one of the biggest mistakes I see that people who contact me make is not allowing for enough time in the process. So by creating that map, you're going to map out how much time it takes, because as you may or may not know, the immigration process is a very long process. So for instance, if you're applying for a green card and you're from India or China, it can take over 10 years, even if you're employment-based second preference, because you have to wait for the 485 to become current. And if you're not planning for that, then you can wait too long to start the process and be in a position where you may not be able to apply for the green card in a timely fashion. So for instance, if you waited till your H-1B expired, like a few months before your H-1B expires to start the green card process, you would have to leave to go home, because there's no way you're going to be able to complete the perm and file the I-140 and 485 in time. Same thing with filing for a J-1 waiver. I get so many calls where they're waiting till 2-3 months before their J-1 expires. And the problem is that at one point it was taking up to 22 months to get a J-1 waiver. Now the Times, as posted it on the USCIS website, states 7 months. Still waiting to see if that's consistent or not. But if you're waiting till if you didn't plan, you didn't set up a roadmap for yourself, you would have to go home if you wait till the last 2 or 3 months. So I don't want that to happen to you. And I'm glad you're listening, so we don't have to have that happening to you. All right. So in creating that process, you've mapped everything out. And then in creating the goals, I really want you to delve deep into the why. Why do you want to achieve that goal? So why do you want a green card? Why do you want to live in the United States? So some of the reasons might be because you want to make your family more secure. It might be because you want to increase your income. And how does that make you feel? You may feel more joy because you're able to help your family members at home and send money at home. You may have a real life situation where if you go home, you may not be able to get a job. For instance, if you are a physician here, you would have to go through the whole process of licensing and maybe even take some classes again in order to become a physician in your home country. So how do you feel if you achieve that goal? Because you need to have a why to motivate you, and go deeper to the goal itself of just you want X, Y, and Z. But what is the feeling, the emotion? Because when things get tough, you can tie yourself back to the emotion of the why. And you need to have a deep why to keep yourself motivated. Because now with how difficult it is becoming in the process, you may want to give up. And then you can return to your why and keep yourself moving along to get your green card and eventually citizenship. The next thing that is very important is not only do you want to look at your immigration goals, but the process is a stressful one. There's so much uncertainty in the process these days that it creates a lot of stress, with the uncertainty of timing, the uncertainty of whether you're going to get an approval. And if you have other tools that can help with the stress, such as focusing on your health, then it can help mitigate that stress. Another area of your life that you can focus on in creating your goals is your health, because that's going to help your overall well-being, and it's going to help deal with the cortisol, the stress that comes up in the immigration process, especially for those of you who have to wait a long time. And if you're going through the green card process, that's dependent upon the employer. The long wait times, the unpredictability of what Trump's going to do day to day. So when you're focusing on your health, some of the things you could focus on is, for instance, is how many times do you want to exercise in a week? Or do you want to eat more greens? Do you want to have a certain degree of portion control? Do you want to have more water, more sleep? All these things are going to contribute to your overall well-being. You're going to feel better. And you're going to be on top of your game to help make sure that you're also on top of your immigration process. There's a partnership with your immigration attorney. in making sure that you're providing the documents that are needed and or working with your attorney to get all the information that's needed to file. And while you're waiting, you have your exercise program going, so you are feeling better about life and better about everything in general. Because I notice for myself, when I'm exercising, I'm on my game, life is better. It just puts me in a better mood. I'll do it usually after work. Sometimes I get an RFE for that day and I'm like, why are they giving us an RFE? We provide all of that information in the application. They're asking for the same exact thing. And then I'll go work out and I'll feel better and come back the next day. Okay, this is what we need to do to respond to the RFE. I mean, that's the lay of the land these days. Sometimes they're just issuing RFEs when they don't. And we don't have control over that. But we do have control over our emotions. We all have control over how we react to what happens to us. By focusing on your health, that helps your overall emotional well-being and then your physical well-being. And then we go back to your why. What's your why of your health? So one of my whys is, well, I want to live longer to be with my family. I want to have more energy. I want to feel great. And I don't want to have a big belly, to be quite frank, too. So I want to feel fit. So those are my personal whys. I'm sharing that with you. But what are your personal whys? And sometimes you need to take radical action. So last year I signed up for a challenge where in 6 weeks you have to exercise 5 times a week. You have very strict meals you have to eat, and the goal is to lose 20 pounds. That really got me motivated, and I didn't lose 20 pounds, but overall, since last year to now, I've done several challenges. I lost up to 1.19 pounds, gained a few back now, but that was through radical action doing that crazy challenge. Because before I was exercising, it wasn't enough, but sometimes, if life is pushing you hard, especially what happened to me is I was just working really hard in my practice, the stress level. I was cutting corners on my health. And add 1 pound a year every single year, that adds up. And I got to the point where I didn't like the way that I was looking. And I realized I needed to just do something radical to change what was happening, and I did that radical challenge. And now I'm focusing on my health, having a consistent exercise practice, and I feel way, way better. And I want you to feel better too. And health is an easy way to do it, because even if you do a little bit of something every day, whatever you choose, you're going to feel better. The physiology of exercising changes your emotional state. Next goal that you can focus on is improving your relationships. So while you're going through the immigration process, you got to have a support network, because this is stressful. And if you have others going through this process, it's going to help you to go through and have that support in making yourself feel better by sharing with others what's going on and realizing that you're not alone. The other thing is, if you're married, you can improve your marriage by doing whatever you want. Like, for instance, this year for myself, I am going to commit to doing a date night with my wife, because having a regular date night is really important to just having that connection. So that's what I'm going to do. What are you going to do? That's up to you. But the more support, the more relationship connection you have, that's going to help again with the stress. And it's not just about stress. Let's look at the positive. It's going to help with the joy, just feeling better about life. Because when you have your relationships working, when you have your health working, all these other areas of your life besides just work, the wheels of your life is going to flow smoothly. With that, my friends, that is a wrap for Top Talent and Immigration, and we are going to see you next week. If you have questions, reach out to us at 916-613-3553.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to click to subscribe, check us out on the web, and we will see you next time.